Hi, I'm Heather Elliott Familaro, Professor and Department Head for Digital Media Design at the University of Connecticut.
My name is Matthew Woerwood, and I'm the Associate Director of Digital Media and Design at the UConn Stamford campus.
The faculty and I were very excited about the possibility of meeting all of you admitted students at our open house in Stamford this spring.
Because it's where we get a chance to meet you for the first time, our future students and future practitioners in digital media and design.
We are going to try to do our best to provide some virtual experiences so you can learn more about all the incredible things we have to offer.
Now, during this presentation, I'm going to try and provide you with all the information that I think you need in order to answer important questions that you have right now. But of course, if I don't succeed in that task, please reach out to myself, Heather, or any one of our colleagues after the presentation. We'll be more than happy to connect with you to provide you with the answers to the questions that you have. So, let's begin with the presentation. So when we begin our presentation about digital media, we begin by trying to offer some definition to what is a very elusive and subjective term. Digital media means different things to different people. And so we take a very transdisciplinary approach to digital media, which I think is represented in all of the concentrations that we have within our department. And so we gravitate toward this definition from the Digital Media Industry Association from Florida, which talks about digital media being the creative convergence of digital arts, science, technology, and business for human expression, communication, social interaction, and education. And I think one of the things that I'm particularly excited about with our department is when you look at that definition, within our faculty, you can find individuals that represents different words within that definition. So I also am a proud parent of 3 boys, and of course whenever I get to give a public presentation, like any proud parent, I always grab or rather look for an opportunity to have a picture of my son. But I do quite often look at digital media, and within my field trying to explore digital media from the concept of how it impacts them and their future. And so when I look at my son Liam, he was born in the year 2014, and if we think 10 years before Liam's birth, Facebook wasn't around, or rather Facebook was in its infancy, YouTube wasn't around, the iPhone wasn't around, the App Store wasn't around, the iPad, which of course represents a whole host of different tablet devices, wasn't around. So you think about all of the ways that we are interacting and consuming information on a daily basis. Most of the time it's probably through one of those applications or technologies. And the idea that it wasn't around 10 years before my son's birth, who's only 6 years old, really speaks to the pace of growth. And we can also look at some of the technologies that have come out 5 years after his birth. If we look at Google Cardboard, which came out in 2014, this idea of a cardboard, but with our mobile device, we're now able to immerse our children and students and other people in these immersive experiences where they can go inside a volcano or look at the solar system and really get a perspective of how small we are in the universe. The Apple Watch 2015 wasn't the first wearable to come out, but of course it's now one of the most popular wearables on the market, now gathering information about us in all different ways, and we're again interacting with that information in many different ways. The Amazon Echo came out in 2016. The Amazon Echo, of course, had Alexa in, and they were talking about this emerging area of virtual assistants. And again, now we're beginning to interact with information through verbal commands as well. Pokemon Go 2016, we really saw the beginning of augmented reality coming into play there, and of course now we see it every day with social media applications such as Snapchat. And Pixel Buds 2017, I bring that out because now the Pixel Buds, of course, is playing with the concept of the universal translator. I'm a big Star Trek fan. And so now we're in a position where we can go to a country like Italy, for example, turn on Google Translate, and we may not be able to speak Italian, but if someone is sharing information to us in Italian, the Google Buds is in a position to begin to translate that language. And then even if it's not necessarily that effective at this moment, we can only imagine that the technology is going to become more effective. And that's the same with things like virtual assistants like Alexa. So the key takeaway is, even 5 years after Liam's birth, these new technologies is continuing to change how we interact with information. And I think for me, that's what I think about when I think about our department, is that we're all designers and artists working with new technologies, trying to solve wicked problems. And so wicked problems is a term that comes out of the design field. It's the type of problems where you don't immediately know the right steps to take. You're quite often lacking information, and you don't even know what the right outcome is. And in fact, the right outcome might be interpreted differently by different people. And we're particularly focused on solving wicked problems, designing solutions to wicked problems around the communication and distribution of information. Now, I also make reference to this video because I think it speaks, again, a little bit about how things have changed with digital media. So this was one of the first viral videos on YouTube, and it's often referred to as Bride Has Massive Hair Wig Out. So maybe you can go and Google it and try and find it on YouTube. So, as I said, it was one of the first viral videos, and what it is, it's a video shot on a handheld camera, so the pixels are incredibly poor. And it's a bride has come in and is not happy with her hair, and she is expressing that frustration in the video, and the bridesmaids are trying to comfort her. And she's trying to work with the hair, but it's not behaving in the way that she wants it to. And so as the video progresses, and as this short video progresses, she becomes more and more frustrated, more and more distraught, to the extent where she asks one of the bridesmaids to go and get some scissors and cut her hair off. And believe it or not, the bridesmaid goes and grabs the scissors and cuts the hair off. Now, at that point, the bride looks in the mirror and she realizes that there's no going back now. She can't save her hair, and she kind of crumbles on the floor, and at that point they turn the video off. And so this video went viral, perhaps because people are thinking, wow, how can a bride cut her hair off on her wedding day? And of course, the people that would be sharing this video would be brides-to-be, but also hairstylists who are regularly doing hair for brides. And as time progressed, the news outlets began to pick this up, and they started to explore doing a story on this particular video to try and investigate what happened at the wedding. And as they started to look into the video, they found that actually they couldn't find the bride or the bridesmaids, but what they were able to find is actors that were in the video. And so they quickly came to the conclusion that this video was staged. And during this time, it was one of the kind of first staged video. It's difficult to say what was the staged video because you don't always know all of the videos that were staged during that time. But there was certainly a negative backlash toward the video as a consequence of the fact that people felt conned by a video that they thought was real, but it wasn't real. Now, the company that was behind this video was, of course, a company that worked in hair products. And it's an example of content marketing, which is that they've gone and identified a problem that their product is being marketed to solve. And so this video is now being distributed by people who might benefit from their product. Now, if you fast forward to this current day, and now we're looking at a YouTube series that was produced last year by a company called Henkel, which is headquartered in Stamford, and that is a consumer products company, primarily a consumer products company, and that was called Turning Tables. And again, it was a TV series that was used to market their products to their audience. And so companies are now looking to digital media, looking to communicate information about their products across all of these different platforms, and they're getting more and more creative in how they are looking to do that. And so as a consequence of all of these different opportunities in digital media, and of course the fact that these opportunities also expand beyond entertainment, you can see that graduates from the digital media and design program has found themselves at many different companies. Not all of them are primarily entertainment companies. Yes, entertainment companies are there, but even many entertainment companies now see themselves as content producers, because that's very much what digital media is in today's age, is the production of content and then the strategic distribution of that content. And so you can see here that we've got companies such as Cigna, Lego, Priceline, as well as companies like A&E, WWE, and ESPN. And we're very proud of this number, that the MD class of 2018, this data, 96.3, were fully employed within 6 months of graduation, which is a fantastic achievement. But I think primarily speaks to the skills that we're providing our students and how those skills are applicable to a world that is becoming so dependent on the production and distribution of information. So let's talk a little bit about the curriculum now. The planner study, there's a lot of details to the planner study, and so I'm not going to get into all of the details because I think the first year provides you with an opportunity to get more familiar with the planner study, and obviously you can also discuss some of these questions with your advisor during that first semester. But the big takeaway that I want everyone to get is whether in your stores or Stamford, the degree is digital media and design. That's the degree that you're pursuing, and we offer a BFA in digital media and design, or a BA, and under those letters there are different concentrations. So you're kind of working toward a generalist degree that is specializing in a particular area. So under the BFA concentration, you have motion design and animation, digital film and video, and web interactive media design. And those BFA concentrations are concentrations that can really only be accomplished in an 8-semester sequence. Then we have the BA concentrations, and so in the BA concentrations we have digital media business strategies and digital culture learning and advocacy, and we also have the DMD generalist degree. And I just want to keep focused on the right side and just make a mention now to transfers. So students who are watching this presentation and are looking to transfer into the program, it's important to recognize that the BFA is an 8-semester sequence, and so we nearly always point transfer students toward the BA concentration because we know that concentration, there is a way that allows students to graduate within 6 semesters. And for those of you that might be interested in pursuing things like animation or digital film or web within the program, but you're also wanting to get out within those 6 semesters, we would direct you to the DMD generalist degree. So as I said, I won't get into the details of exactly what classes you'll be taking. That information is on our website, and there's other material that provides you with that information. What I want to try and do is talk to you a little bit about the type of experiences that you'll have year to year. So in year 1 at DMD Stamford, it's primarily looking at making friends, increasing your knowledge of the industry. We're obviously in a very unique place where we can do that. We want you to develop relationships with your professors, particularly your advisor. We want you to join a club. We've got some great clubs at the DMD campus. Some of those clubs are run by DMD students. But if you don't have the club you like, then make a club. Many of our students, in fact, some of the most popular students on campus have been made by the DMD students. And all of this is happening while you're developing foundational skills critical to design practitioners in digital media. And so those foundational skills include the hard skills where you're learning the technology and the applications such as Photoshop and Illustrator and Adobe Premiere. But likewise, you're also developing important soft skills, which we hear a lot about: collaboration, communication, creative thinking, problem solving. And those soft skills are so critical to all of our students, no matter what concentration that you're wanting to pursue. In year 2, we're really trying to get you to choose your concentration. In fact, I'm kind of being nice with those words. You have to choose your concentration, because by the 3rd semester, you're actually choosing intro classes that are providing you with the necessary prereqs for you to go and take intermediate and advanced classes in future semesters. We're also looking for you to start thinking about securing an internship in that second year. Companies like NBC Sports, which is located a short distance away from the UConn Stamford campus, they're primarily targeting rising sophomores for their internship program. We also want you to start looking at participating in extracurricular activities. As you get more familiar with the city of Stamford, you'll know that there's a lot of extracurricular activities within the community. So those aren't necessarily communities that are just taking place on campus. They range from things like the Global Game Jam to also hackathons and Oscar nights and many other things and events that take place during the year. We also want you to begin interacting with industry. So we quite often bring industry speakers onto campus, sometimes into our classes, but we also run company tours as well. And so in year 2, we're really hoping that you can begin to look at some of the companies you're interested in learning more about and participating on those tours, or being present when we've got a representative from one of those companies. And again, we want you to do all of this while you're developing more introductory knowledge specific to your concentration. So now, if you're in film, video production during that year 2, you're now starting to get hands-on with the video cameras, particularly the more expensive cameras. You're also starting to get more in the weeds with applications like Adobe Premiere. If you're in web and interactive media, likewise, you're starting to take classes such as foundations of programming for game and web, or web design classes. And then if you're in animation and motion design, you're also looking, again, getting into After Effects and also starting to apply some of these design skills in the animated world. Moving into year 3, again in year 3, we're still looking for you to try and secure an internship. In fact, I have an advisee that is leaving at the end of the year, and she prides herself in looking for a different internship each semester so she can really get an experience. She likes identifying what she doesn't like to do. The other thing that you need to start thinking about is beginning to just identify what the type of entry-level jobs you want after graduation. So I'm not necessarily getting you to choose your career at this point. That's a tough question for even people my age. But what you actually are looking to do is identify the type of jobs where you feel that you're interested in pursuing after graduation. There's also opportunities to start pursuing funding for your research projects. We are a Research One institution, so that does mean that you're engaging with faculty that are regularly working on research projects. And so as a Research One institution, that does mean that there is funding for research projects, and some of that funding is made available for undergraduate students. So we have had some students that have secured funding for short film and video projects, as well as the development of mobile apps. We also want you to start thinking about working on your professional portfolio during year 3. You certainly would have started to work toward putting together things like a demo reel in the first and second year, but now we're really getting you to think about how are you communicating your skill set to industry. And again, all while perfecting skills specific to your concentration. So now in that third year, you're really starting to make headway on your concentration and getting more confident with the skills necessary to succeed in these specific areas. And in year 4, it really is about the senior experience, which is pretty much a year-long experience. It's where you're going to be working on that senior thesis. So for a film student, it could well be for a film. If it's an animation student, it could be an animation. For a web and interactive media student, it might be an interactive exhibition or experience of some sort. And you're preparing for industry, and of course that senior thesis we are expecting to be shown at the BFA exhibition, which takes place in the spring. So that is the plan of study, or rather the experience that you'll get during your 4 years. Now what I want to do is talk a little bit about the city of Stamford, because that is one of the things that is unique, obviously, to the DMD Stamford program, is the fact that we are located in the heart of a city, and that city is located in close proximity to New York City. Quite often when we're talking about industry in Stamford, we're talking about industry that is in Stamford or located near Stamford. And so often that is kind of like 5 municipalities: Greenwich, New Canaan, Darien, and Norwalk. And there's a lot of companies located in this vicinity and well connected as a consequence of the train line. And of course that train line also makes us connected very close to Manhattan and everything that New York City has to offer. So you can get from Stamford train station to New York City in 45 minutes. And in fact, this image is from the New York City Regional Planning Committee, which actually looks to Fairfield County, particularly Lower Fairfield County, as an area that can accommodate the growth of New York City. And as we can see, we've started to see more and more companies moving up into that area. In fact, just moving forward to that, here's some of the companies that are in and around the Stamford community. And again, I share this list because you can see some of the entertainment companies, but you can also see some kind of more non-entertainment companies as well. And just to highlight a couple here, Henkel I've made a reference to. So that's a consumer products company, but they are also looking to hire practitioners in digital media and design. We have Octagon, which is a medium-sized agency. So many of our students actually are very attractive to media agencies in and around Connecticut. I like to point out Synchrony because one of the great things about Synchrony is the fact that they now have an innovation lab, and we've been very blessed to have some of our students securing internships on campus as part of the Synchrony Innovation Lab. So they are going to DMD classes, and then when they don't have DMD classes, they're popping down to the Synchrony Lab working on Synchrony projects. Now, this is the information I'm presenting to you about the program, but of course one of the most important things that you can do is pull out your phones now if you're watching this presentation on a computer, and get your camera and look at these QR codes, because they'll take you to links of student work. And of course, that's what really gives you a sense of the type of things that you'll be doing in the DMD program. So I do want to just highlight Beach Ball. Beach Ball is something we're extremely proud of in DMD. It's an award-winning student agency. Whatever plan of study you're taking, you will take agency or be in Beach Ball for at least one semester during your time in DMD Stamford. So you'll be working on external projects, and you can see some of the work that Beach Ball's been working on this year by clicking on that link. This is a link to the middle one is Spirit of the Sound, and that was one of the award-winning animation videos that Beach Ballers produced, I think it was a few years ago now, and that project was in collaboration with Norwalk Aquarium. They wanted to work with us to produce content that they could share online about a new research vessel that they had acquired. And so the students did an amazing job of putting that together. We had 3D students working on a 3D model of that vessel. We had motion graphic students working on the motion graphics in the video, and of course video students working on the video. So it really began to encompass some of the multidisciplinary aspect that I talk about when talking about digital media and design in this presentation. And then the final QR code, a little dated now, but it has a video, a 2-minute video that shares some of the perspectives of DMD Stamford students. So these are students that have gone through the DMD program now, and they're sharing their stories about living, working, and studying in the city of Stamford. So we are a family. This is our full faculty, both my colleagues in Stores and Stamford. We are very proud of our 2 campuses, 1 vision statement. We work closely with our colleagues in Stores on the curriculum. And I myself, for example, teach a class called Design Thinking, and that class is taught to both Stamford and Stores students at the same time. And likewise, I have colleagues in Stores that are also teaching Stamford students and Stores students at the same time. So here is all of the faculty that you have access to, whether you're at the Stamford campus or the Stores campus. So to finish up, here's some links. Do check out our website page, particularly the UConn bound page. I think one of the things that I really encourage you to check out is look at our computer software specs. Every student in the DMD program will need a laptop computer. And so, of course, you can contact us if you have questions about that computer, but the specs are shared and updated every year. And then we also have our Vimeo page where you can see videos that represent other student work. And once again, please reach out to us, email us if you have any questions or want to set up a one-on-one with faculty. And finally, perhaps one of the best ways to get information about our program, to get information on what it's like to be a DMD student, is of course via social media. And social media is a big thing of what we teach in the major, and it's something that we're certainly proud of. So do check us out on social media. All right, so I'll finish up here. I hope that this presentation has been helpful. And as I said, I want to reiterate, if you still have ongoing questions, please reach out to myself, our department head, Heather Elliott Familaro, or any of my colleagues. Thank you and all the best.